Hello there and welcome. Today we're going to talk about what kind of payments you can take for your business. This is part of starting your business and getting all set up, one of those technical things that you need to do. And when I first started years ago with my company, there weren't as many options as there are today. So keep in mind that as you begin taking payments from customers, they may have other ideas about how to pay you that you haven't considered yet. And I'm going to try to cover many of them as we talk through this, but I'm going to talk about the ones that I use. And you may know of some other ones. So, and depending on where you are in the country, it may actually be more popular to use a different app that I'm talking about. And really, what we're talking about at the moment is digital currency. So, payments today are just, it's not cash and checks and credit cards anymore. It's a lot of digital currency. So, what we need to consider is these apps that help you receive money from people. So, one of the ways is Venmo. Let's just talk about the most popular one, in my opinion, is Venmo. You've got two ways to set up your Venmo. So, a lot of you already have a Venmo account for personal reasons. You go out with your friends, somebody pays the bill, you all send them each a little bit of money, and you send it from your Venmo. Now that's great because there's no charge. You know, Venmo doesn't charge you to use its app, but now that you're starting a business, Venmo is going to say, hey, are you a business? Would you like to set up a business account with us? So when you do that, Venmo is going to charge you just like a credit card company would. So keep that in mind that if you do accept Venmo, there goes 2 or 3% of your income. And that's a personal choice you can make. But what I did to get started was before I had a lot of sales that first year, I just had it come to my personal account until I knew for sure that this was the way that I wanted to accept payment, because I wasn't sure. I just wanted to start out with a business account with Venmo. You can, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just letting you know that this is how I did it. So for about a year, I kind of let it go into my personal account. Now, remember, we did talk about having separate checking accounts. So this is where you're going to have to do some accounting and realize that this was a transaction that was a business transaction, not your personal income. So you've got to separate that. And I'm not an accountant, but just saying. So if you keep your personal account so you don't get charged that fee, then do it for a while. See if you're interested in keeping that Venmo payment system. Other than Venmo, there are other companies like Cash App. Cash App seems to be popular with a certain demographic. I wouldn't say that it's like popular with, say, the 55 plus. I mean, it's just a different type of app that different people use. So each demographic is going to have its own preferred way. Just like I would say that 55 plus people like Facebook. I would say that 30 plus like Instagram. So it's the same way when you get to these payment systems. I have a 100-year-old client and she likes checks, and I'm okay with that. And she writes a check. She writes 3 checks a week to me. So that's what she prefers. And I can't change it. I can't fix it. It's just what they like. And I want them to pay with whatever way that they like, right? So I want them to be happy. And so I offered many payment ways for people to pay. So so we've got Venmo. The other one is Zelle. You know what I really love about Zelle? Here's the difference. Venmo, when you receive a payment, it takes 3 days to receive that money. Of course, unless you pay a fee to get it now, But with Zelle, when you receive a Zelle payment, it goes right into your checking account. That's the way to go. I wish everybody would just use Zelle, and it's free. It is completely free. So to me, Zelle is the best, but that's just me. Like I said, other people like to use what they like to use. A lot of people like to use credit cards. They get points. They would rather use credit, but then they're going to also recognize that you're a small business. I think that people are very considerate when it comes to small business and not wanting them to have to pay that fee. So keep in mind, it's actually people are tend to be pretty friendly about the fact that there's that fee when they use their credit card nowadays. And I do believe you can kind of decide who pays that credit card fee. So there may be some way that you can do that and negotiate that with your clients. Sometimes if somebody wants to pay with a credit card and it's a larger charge, let's say it's a $300 charge, um, you're talking about a significant decrease in the amount of income you're going to get because you're going to have to pay that credit card fee. So sometimes I might throw in a $10 charge to cover the credit card fee, or a $5 charge or something like that, just to help cover some of it. You can always negotiate. You can come up with creative ways to help ease the pain of having to pay their fee, right? So it's your business. You can do it however you want. Now, let me go back to Zelle and Venmo. I will say this. Usually, those apps are going to require a phone number. Okay. And now you've got two phone numbers. You have your home phone number, which is your cell phone number, your personal cell phone number. And now you have your Google Voice number or whichever other business number that you want to use. So setting up Zelle and Venmo on a phone number may not be the right answer for you. What I found to be the easiest way was they also ask for an email. So if you would like to receive payment, you can actually set up your business Venmo or Zelle. Let's just say Zelle. You can set up your second Zelle with your email address. So whenever somebody says, how do I Zelle you? Well, they can scan the QR code. I can show it to them. But if they're not with me, they can type in my email. They can send it to that email, and then they'll find me by my name. And I give them my name that it's registered under. So you just give them these details so that they can find the correct person. You don't want them sending a payment to the incorrect person, right? On a lot of my services, I actually list how they can pay me in PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, all these different ways, because each way has a different handle. Now, as you set these up, you're going to collect them. Just collect new ways for people to pay. Then you have to link them to your business bank account so that the payment goes straight into your bank account, right? Now, like I said, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 days to receive the payment without paying any fee. So I just let it ride and let them take their time. But I will say that 9 times out of 10, Venmo actually gets the money to me the next day. It depends if you put the request in before or after 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. I'm not sure what I can't really narrow it down to what the time is, but they actually do make the transfer the very next day if you get it in on the right day and if it's before a certain time. You'll learn the nuance of that the more money that you're making. So let me just recap with you all the ways that you can receive digital currency. So the digital currency would be Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App. I bet you know of a couple other ways, don't you? Like I said, whatever you think people are using is what you should probably sign up for so that you can receive that. And the way you sign up is you just go to their website and they'll give you the instruction. You can even call somebody to get instructions, but you just need to sign up, link your bank account, and that way when people want to pay, you make it easy for them. I also take cash, I also take checks, and I also take credit cards. Now, for credit card processing, let's talk about that for a minute. There are so many ways that you can take credit cards. I don't take credit as much as I take digital currency. Now that's me, that's where I live, that's around here. Remember, it's going to be different for each area of the country that you're in. But I will say that the credit card processor that I use charges the least fee. It is pretty easy to use. It was a little confusing at first. I was not so sure I wanted to stick with it. But once I learned how to do it, I realized that I really had the best deal because I had low fees. It's one page of information that I have to gather from them. I have to gather their name, their credit card number, expiration date, CVV code, and the street number and street name that they live on, and the zip code. So there's two extra things I have to collect when I'm processing a credit card that other people probably don't have to get. But no fees. Really, really low fees, no extra fees. Now, I decided not to get one of those processors or a Square or a swiper strip because I have multiple vehicles, and you may not have multiple vehicles, but I might leave this processor at home while I'm on the other side of town. So I could totally see that happening because I'm always running around. I'm always someplace. I'm always there. I'm always there. I mean, I just couldn't really keep track of having one of those machines. And I think it was about $300. I'm not sure what the actual price was, but for me to keep one of those on hand with me at all times, I just don't see it as a practical option. So the only thing I do different with my credit card processing is I pull up my phone, I open the app, I enter the information, and I hit send. And they can watch me. They can watch me do it right there. And when it's correct, it gives me a green, yay, and I look at them and I say, great, it went through. And it's that easy. So try to think about keeping things simple because if you think you need a big clunky processor and spend hundreds here and hundreds there, you don't. I'm all about keeping it simple and not paying for things that I'm not sure that I need. So all it took for me was to try a certain way for a little while, and I made a deal with myself. I said, if I try this way and I absolutely hate it and I just have to have this $300 expense, I'll buy it. But until then, I'm going to try it without this thing. And what I did was I realized that the benefit of being free from having to carry this processor around is that it outweighed the hassle of having to enter their street name and number and their zip code. So that's what worked for me. I'm all about saving money and not spending a whole bunch of money to get started in business. This is one of those things you can do. It just requires you to learn. It just requires you to try, and I know you can do it. Just give it a little bit of time. It'll happen. All right. Thanks for joining me today. Be your own sunshine. I'm Terry.